Today on the news and why it matters, a notable celebrity throwing his hat into the ring for 2024 already. Who could it possibly be? Also, the 7-year-old who lived as a transgender underneath his mother. Ooh, we've got an update for you there that you are not going to want to miss. Don't change the channel. It starts right now.
Well, yeah.
Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sara Gonzalez. Friday. It's Friday, ladies and gentlemen. So, of course, as always, we have beer. It's happy hour or something like that. Here today, joined by Stubergear, Giancarlo Sopo, who also is now part of the family. He is a writer, officially a writer here at theblaze.com, in addition to being a regional fellow.
Stop it.
Yeah,
she was trying for a while. And
so we're on.
What?
We're on.
Oh,
I know people who work here. They're able.
That's awesome, man.
And Colen, also at theblaze.com. I expect fisticuffs before this show ends.
He won't be back. Don't worry about it.
Got a lot to get into. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Mercury Real Estate and Real Estate Agents I Trust.com. If you are looking to buy or sell right now, which interest rates are low, interest rates are down, you don't know when they're going to go back up. Now is possibly the time to start looking. I know my family is. You got to go to realestateagentsitrust.com as opposed to, Stu, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't want to go to like the guys who have their picture on the benches at the bus stop.
Typically not the best. You don't find a lot of solutions for things under homeless people sleeping, which is usually where you see the real estate agents' faces. I'll also say, it will save you a lot of time. Trying to actually do all the checking of these people yourselves is not something that you want to do. Now, you'll lose a little bit of that time because it's one of the longest web addresses you'll ever type. But when you get through realestateagentsitrust.com, it's not going to take you that long, and you're going to be able to actually find a good real estate agent that is you're not picking because they're smiling at you from a waiting place for a bus.
In all seriousness, though, we tried it. My husband and I tried it. They called us within like 10, 15 minutes, and it was off business hours. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and we had a realtor calling us who was, the top realtor in our area. So really, we've done the homework, so you don't have to. You got to go to, as Stu said, the very long web address, realestateagentsitrust.com. So, Kanye West, you thought that you were done with political Kanye West, but you are not done with political Kanye West because Kanye West has now said, now I want you guys to tell me your thoughts on whether or not he's serious, but he claimed in this latest forum that he was at Fast Company Innovation Festival in New York City, he claimed that he is running for president in 2024. Watch.
When I run for president in 2024, we're going to definitely know what y'all laughing at. When I run for president in 2024, we would have created so many jobs that I'm not going to run, I'm going to walk. What I'm saying is, when y'all read the headlines,
yes, we need more clarification.
This is that. It's like 1 in 3 African Americans are in jail, and all the celebrities are in jail also, because they can't say nothing. They have no opinion. They're so scared. Even after this, I'm gonna get in the car and be like, feeling like how I felt at the telethon after I said George Bush don't care about black. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm definitely gonna be riding.
I don't know what any of that meant.
Yeah. So you're saying he's walking for president, not running for president?
Yeah, should we do like a welfare check? Like, I couldn't follow the train of thought there.
Yeah, I've never, there's never been a time where I've understood a sentence Kanye West has said.
Ever?
I've never actually understood one of them. So that will continue the trend here. People like Kanye West on the right now because he's doing something I think legitimately brave and legitimately like culturally shocking. It's not a nothing story. Kanye West, and I think he is serious there. I think that's legitimately serious. He was pissed off when they laughed at him.
Yeah. It was uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, no.
He did not look happy.
Yeah.
So awkward.
I have been saying for a couple of years now that the only thing that would make sense next is a President Kardashian and we could just all hope and pray that it turns out to be Kourtney, because I feel like she'd be the best. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But maybe Kanye he's kind of in the Kardashian family. It might make sense that Kanye wins. I legitimately would not be surprised if Kanye West was the next president of the United States. Legitimately would not be surprised.
That's terrifying.
I don't even know. Is it? I don't even know anymore. Like, we are at a point now where this is just a celebrity gig. That's all it is. I mean, we turned a very boring pseudo-constitutional lawyer into a celebrity in 2000, between 2004 and 2008. And he ran as a celebrity candidate. And now we have a legitimate celebrity who's the candidate. I don't know how do you go back to Pete Buttigieg or something at this point? Like, you go back to some boring, like, wonky nerd now? I don't know.
I
it's
hope
like,
so.
I am, like, not from, and I don't think you're saying you're hoping Pete Buttigieg gets
No, let's be clear.
Yeah, like, I would like to see a little bit, Trump is Trump, and he's going to be Trump for as long as he's in office. The next person, I would like to see someone who's not doing a Trump impersonation. Kanye West, we all agreed was completely insane until about 18 months ago. And then now he's like the big celebrity hero. And I will say, I really didn't care or believe it at all. What he's doing in the faith world right now is, I think, a much more significant thing than his political aspirations, even though they're pretty significant too. The fact that he would release an entire album of essentially gospel songs is like a legitimate cultural moment. That's a big deal. And
make the statement that he will no longer release anything else.
Yeah. I mean, it's not nothing. I mean, so I don't want to, like, my instinct is to completely dismiss him because, look, he's legitimately crazy in my mind. I mean, frankly. However, he does seem to be landing on the right side of issues lately, so I think I'm a little bit more open to it. And when you get to a point where you're actually bringing people to faith that would never consider it previously, then it's a whole different ballgame. That's serious business.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I like the Kanye West gospel album. I like the Christian thing. What he said there makes no sense. It makes no sense. I don't want him running for president, even if it's.
Well, how do you explain your platforms?
I don't really think that he knows anything about politics or government, I don't have any expectation that he knows anything about that. And even if you think, okay, let's say you think, well, it worked out for Trump. What are the chances that it's going to work out 2 times in a row? You don't want to keep rolling the dice on celebrity candidates.
Well, yeah, Trump is Trump, right? Like, Trump is an outlier.
Let's not take the risk on somebody else who doesn't necessarily have the background, especially somebody who's been so erratic as Kanye. It's past what anything Trump did. Trump was a businessman, so there's something that you can kind of hold on to. What does Kanye West have that makes you think, oh yeah, he might work out. He might fit the role.
Well, I would want him doing a foreign policy for us, right?
Yeah. Well, Kanye's a businessman too, right? He certainly runs a pretty large empire, at least at some level. I don't know that, look, I don't think this is the profile of candidates that I would desire, but what I will say is, like, this has become such a centrally focused role, and everyone's obsessed with the president all the time. I don't know exactly when that started, but, like, think of presidents like Carter and Ford. People probably didn't even know their names. I mean, like,
HW.
HW. Like, I mean, Reagan was a big figure. George W. Bush became a very divisive figure, and I feel like that 2000 election and the 98 impeachment and, like, that sort of era might have been that point, but, like, I mean, look, people were really obsessed with Obama, including us. We got to the point where we actually banned his name on the show. We were so sick of talking about him. And Trump is obviously to a complete other level. But can you imagine an America right now where we reverse this trend?
I do hope we course correct. I think we kind of need to get it back on the rails and before we go too far, because even if it works right now, things just go to the extreme, and then do we want to wait till it breaks before we, get back to normal?
I think it could happen. I think it would take the right person. I think it would take, Nikki Haley, right? Like, yeah. I think she could do something, and she's not a celebrity. She's not in it for that type of thing.
Yeah,
but I think she has the type of appeal that she could kind of cross over and mend that.
I agree. I'm not saying that it has to be a celebrity candidate. I don't think that's like we're locked into nonstop celebrities now. What I'm saying is, like, the role is so dominating of our culture, and I don't think we can reverse that. We've turned this person into a freaking king. Let's be honest about it. All the things that we ran away from in England, now all we do is talk, whether you like Trump or not, you're either defending him all the time, or you're opposing him all the time, or you are sitting here thinking about what we do, which I hope is to try to call balls and strikes, but still we're talking about him all the time. And it's like the United States, the presidency is not supposed to dominate American life like it does right now. That's unhealthy, and more celebrity injections into that is just going to make it worse. Yeah,
Giancarlo, before I want to get your thoughts, but I also want to just let you guys know in this same little forum, Kanye also said that he was thinking about changing his name to, legally changing his name to Christian genius billionaire Kanye West. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's great branding. Yeah, that would look great on a bumper sticker. Yeah, no, I'm with him on this. I mean,
it's like, how do you take this seriously?
Trump's like pissed off. Why did I think of that? Yeah. What the hell's wrong with me? You're all fired. How did you not think of that?
I might steal that idea. Yeah. Keep it on his Twitter.
No, what are your thoughts?
No, I was gonna say, like, I think like we're kind of like in a dangerous place right now, where it's really tough to go back to just having a boring president, and where you see like really great potential candidates, people like Mike Lee of Utah and other like conservative leaders being like, people are like just writing him off, saying this person will never get elected, he or she is too boring. I think that is really dangerous for the country, because we're turning an office that should be formative, we're turning it into something that is performative. And that's really dangerous for a constitutional republic. I feel like we're going down the wrong path.
That is a great point, you know, because we heard from the left when Obama got elected, well, he's such a great speaker, right? He's such a great speaker. I mean, I don't know much else about him, but he speaks really well. And I felt like, myself included, conservatives kind of latched onto that idea in 2016 with Marco Rubio. When, you know, I aligned more with Ted Cruz, but when I listened to him speak, I said, he's not going to appeal to the people in the middle. He's not going to appeal to the left. There's no way. Look at this guy, Marco Rubio. He speaks really well. He, you know, like, you feel like he's talking specifically to you. He's got the, you know, the drive and the energy. And I found myself, even though I wasn't as aligned with him, I found myself thinking like, well, but he speaks really well.
Well, he's also Cuban, so he's got that going for him. Yeah, no, I don't see us going back to Calvin Coolidge or anything like that anytime soon.
I wish. I mean, God, Coolidge was fantastic.
Yeah, and I do think that obviously, like, the office of the presidency has the power to rally the nation to do really great things, and I think that's important. Obviously, you should be able to speak and present your ideas. But that said, I don't want any more celebrities in the White House. I want someone who understands like the business of government and also understands the limit of his or her own office.
Okay, but like, what about if it was Khloe Kardashian instead of Kourtney?
I only go Kourtney, because Kim and Khloe both seem a little too bonkers. Like, Kourtney's like, I think, the more balanced one. I've thought a lot about this.
She's too punitive.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think that's a good vibe for the president. You don't think? It's like, it is bizarre though. I mean, how long until Kendall Jenner is eligible? Can we slide? Is that possible? I don't know. There's about 4. Although we could just go Caitlyn. This is something we haven't talked about. We go Caitlyn. We get the first female president, the first transgender president, someone who was a Republican until very recently, an Olympian, an achiever. Someone who didn't even exist until a few years ago because it was
all
Bruce.
The boxes. Wow.
I mean, this is like, he would have no paper trail because you'd be like, hey, in 1975 you did that. Actually, that was Bruce Jenner. I had nothing to do with that.
Well, wait, but that's not fair, because he gets to count the age as if he gets to count the Bruce Jenner age for his age.
That's true.
He hasn't been Caitlyn Jenner for 35 years yet.
It would be really confusing. It would be the next right. Now I think about it. That's
I'm going to look back on this clip years down the road and be like, I called this.
That's it. Stu just cracked the code on national television. Stu Burgier. All right, when we come back, an update to the James Younger case, the 7-year-old transgender boy, born as a boy. There's a lot more to this story that just happened. We'll tell you when we come back.
It is nuts, and I mean, getting crazier. Before we get into the conversation, we want to thank our sponsor, This Is Elle.
All right, so gentlemen, settle down for a second, okay? I'm speaking to the ladies out there. Ladies, did you know that your feminine hygiene products often contain, they've got like pesticides, chlorine, fragrances, dyes. Yeah, this is not what you probably want to be like having super close to you all the time. So this is Elle, focuses on creating organic feminine hygiene products that they do it without all of these nasty ingredients that you don't realize we're constantly inundated with all of these chemicals that we're putting in our body. Well, you don't have to do that with This Is Elle. This Is Elle only uses organic cotton, and beyond that, they are also making these organic period care products accessible to women who need them. So there are a lot of women in third world countries who they don't have access to this, and there are young girls, they have to miss school in these countries when they get their periods. So This Is Elle, what they do is that for every Elle product you purchase, one is made accessible to a woman or a girl in one of these countries who really, really needs it. To date, they've made over 200 million products accessible to these females, and when you get Elle, you are helping make that movement grow. You can find it at your local Target. It's the best looking packaging on the shelf. It's a gold lid and a clear canister, or the white bags with a gold circle on the front, or you can go to thisiselle.com/news. That is thisiselle.com/news. Do something good for yourself and also help out another female in need. So an update to the James Younger case. I know we've covered it heavily on this program. I don't want to rehash every single detail, but a 7-year-old boy, this dated all the way back to when he was 3. There was a custody dispute because the mother said, well, when he's with me, he wants to live as a girl named Luna. The father said, well, when he's with me, he doesn't want to wear the girl's clothes that you put him in. He wants to be a boy, and his name is James. And so there was this nasty custody dispute. The jury decided that the mother should have sole custodianship of little James, which was shocking, I think, here in Texas. This is happening in Texas, of all places. But the judge kind of reversed their decision and said, no, they're going to have joint conservatorship, and the boy is going to spend more time with his father. So there was a Facebook post from the Save James account, which is now not run by the father because the father has a gag order, which I think is kind of weird to give him a gag order to not talk about this. But they posted some pictures of young James with his twin brother, one of them. But young James, they said he is now dressing as a boy to go to school. And the principal reported that there were no disruptions. It was a stress-free day. And, he seems happy and comfortable in his own skin. Those of you who are watching on television, you saw his face, right? Like, that's, to me, as a parent, that's not the face of a little boy who is being pushed into wearing boys' clothes when he thinks he's a girl. Like, that looks like a relieved, happy little boy. Just saying.
How dare you?
Just saying.
How dare you?
I mean, call me crazy.
It's one frame of
yes.
photo. Who knows? I mean, but
can you get your kids to smile like that if they don't want to take the picture?
No. My wife takes so many freaking pictures of them. I think at this point, they don't even know.
She just has smile and they're immediately like.
Yes. So first of all, the gag order you're talking about is in place on both the mother and the father until the kids are 18.
That's insane.
How on earth is that? These
crazy.
Parents can't talk publicly about their lives with their children until the kids are 18. I've never heard of anything like that before. I mean, a couple of months while a trial is going on, I can understand a gag order. You can't gag order someone until you're 18. At least I don't think you should be able to.
And it makes you wonder why the judge put that in place, right?
Right. It is a bizarre case. The craziest part to me, which is a detail I had only heard this morning, is they said that they were sending him when he goes to when he's with his mom, they're sending him as a girl. When he's with the dad, they're sending him as a boy. And the dad drops them off at school, and I cannot believe this is true because I would lose my mind if this actually happened. But they said when he shows up as a boy from school, the people at school ask him, would he like to change into girls' clothes? And let him say, and they say he's saying yes, and they're changing him at school after his dad sent him to school as a boy and changing him into a dress at school.
Oh.
I mean,
They don't have to ask the dad for permission.
Apparently not.
I would think they should. I thought that was absolutely incredible. I mean, that's the school just saying, yeah, no, we know better. We're actually, screw you. Now, some of this may have changed with this ruling. I don't know. I mean, I hadn't heard whether it happened this day where this picture was taken, but that's what was going on. And that is incredibly damaging. And I was listening to some reporting on it this morning, and the way they talk about it is insane. I legitimately feel like I'm in an alternate universe when they talk about these stories. They're talking about, well, they played the video that I think we played, where he's like, "Are you a boy or a girl?" "I'm a girl," and they're like, "Well."
Because mommy told me.
Yeah, because mommy told me. They didn't play that part, of course.
Right, of course.
And they just said, well, I mean, she's saying she's a girl. What's the dispute? Like,
Just that he's 3.
You really don't understand what the dispute is. And then they go down the road of, well, Ted Cruz said, no one should be making a decision at 7 years old about the rest of your life, these major physical things. However, the American Academy for Pediatrics says kids are able to make up their mind on their gender at 4 years old. So there's a real discrepancy between the science and people like Ted Cruz. That's how they're presenting this story to people. It's like no one on earth, 0 people on earth, 0 believe at 4 years old you can make a decision that will last the rest of your life on anything.
Kids can't even choose what to eat it for.
No.
Yeah, you give them a choice. Like they'll have like a box of sugar or something.
Yes.
Why even bother making us be the legal guardians of them until they turn 18 if they can make all of these life-altering decisions? I'm telling my kid to pack his bag and go get an apartment and a job because apparently he can make adult decisions now at 7.
Yeah, and I look at this like things are working not in the favor of the child or the father, because if what you're saying can happen where he can be changed at school, the father can't talk about it, and the media is going to report on it a certain way, even though he has the joint conservatorship or whatever the case may be, he doesn't have a position of power and influence over his child because the tide is going against him in that. And so it'll be interesting when the story kind of passes out of the media a little bit. You wonder what's going to happen when he doesn't have that support for his case. What's going to happen to him? And I think in the end of the day, you look at the kid, and being in the media, one, is damaging. Being used as sort of a mascot for this transgender issue is damaging. All this stuff that's being said about him is going to exist as he gets older, and he's going to know about it and be aware of it. What does that do to his psyche? What does that do to him in terms of socializing with people at school when people know that this is him and this is his situation? It's just sad all around.
Yeah, this should be illegal. This should be illegal.
It is absolutely child abuse. Well, I think that there's a Texas state rep who is introducing a bill to, maybe it's just to ban puberty blockers, but
or like surgeries or things
yeah.
Look, I am a major parental rights guy. Like I don't want the government telling me how to raise my kids, and I think like there's a good,
unless you're insane.
Yeah, first of all, there is a certain
else.
level where we obviously all agree.
Yeah, like the state has an interest in making sure that parents aren't abusing their children by inserting them with hormones or cutting off body parts.
Yeah.
Or maybe just mentally by telling them you are a different gender, you are a different gender, you are a different gender at 3.
And that's that's something that had to be sorted out. I don't know that we even I don't know A, how you would do it, but also B, how, if it's right to say you can't wear a dress to school even, right? Like I don't think that's a good idea, but at least that's not a permanent change of their physical bodies that they can't reverse. Like that is the sort of thing that's way beyond the line. If you were to cut off another part of your body without any physical need for it, like you would
go to the loony bin.
Prison. Yeah. I mean, if you did that to your kid, you'd be thrown in prison.
To your kid. Oh yeah,
totally.
absolutely.
It's really strange.
All right, back in a minute.
Can you imagine you send your kid to school in a little cute little suit?
Hey, now I figure is the best time to self-promote. So I filled in for Steve Deace earlier today. You can go find it on BlazeTV.com. It was Jason Buttrell and I, who is, of course, a good friend of the program, is frequently on. It was fun. It was a Friday show, so you got to check it out. You got to go to BlazeTV.com. Use the promo code NEWS. You will get $10 off when you sign up for a year. It's BlazeTV.com. Plus, you have access to much, much more, including Overtime, which starts next.